In 2003, a serial murder case in Beijing shocked the whole country. In just half a year, a total of 6 men were killed. They died tragically, with their genitals brutally cut off by the killer. After in-depth investigation, the police found that all 6 victims were homosexuals who liked to go to gay bars and had a kink for BDSM. Soon, the Beijing Municipal Public Security Bureau identified the suspect as a man named Li Yizhang, who was only 23 years old. He used to be a student at the Beijing Institute of Technology. So, what led this academically gifted man to become a criminal? Hello, welcome to the Crime Documentary Files channel. At 9 p.m. on March 19, 2003, Yan Yuan's parents called their son, who worked away in Beijing, as usual. After a long period of a busy tone, they decided to call his landline, but it wasn't picked up either. Still, they thought their son had gone to bed, so they didn't think too much of it, even though they were a bit confused. They called Yan Yuan again after 2 days, but still didn't get any answer. The worried parents had to take the train to Beijing overnight and arrived at their son's residence in Haidian district. As soon as they entered the door, they saw a scene that they could not unsee for the rest of their lives. They found the deceased Yan Yuan tied up with knife wounds all over his body. They called the police in panic and with great sadness. The police arrived at the scene swiftly and investigated the fingerprints and modus operandi. The police found that this case was very similar to the previous 5 homicides, which meant that there had been 6 similar cases from the end of 2002 to the beginning of 2003. During the investigation of 6 similar homicides in Beijing, they found that the victims shared 3 common characteristics. They were all homosexual, they enjoyed BDSM, and they were all on same-sex dating sites. Soon after, the police focused on people who had communicated with 5 of the victims on the internet and were also homosexual, thereby narrowing down the pool of suspects. They made progress in less than half a month. On April 4, 2003, through visiting and investigating the daily activities of several victims, the police identified a man named Li Yizhang. In many people's eyes, Li Yizhang was an ordinary employee of Ping An Insurance Company of China, who worked hard for his job and life. He looked like an ordinary person, but his neighbors recalled that his sexual orientation seemed to be unique. He often brought different men home from gay bars, and he was chatting with several victims in QQ chat rooms. Li Yizhang was highly suspicious, so the police quickly launched an operation. They rushed to Li Yizhang's rented flat, which was in the basement of Building 12, Wangnan, Dongjimin, Dongcheng District, Beijing, to arrest him. Unexpectedly, the officers bumped right into Li Yizhang, who was walking his dog. He looked particularly calm when he saw the police and said, "Are you looking for me?" Just like that, Li Yizhang did not resist, did not argue, went home to get some daily necessities, and went to the police station with the officers. After comparison, the police found that the fingerprints at the scene of the murder were consistent with those of Li Yizhang. He quickly admitted that he had killed 6 gay men through online dating. However, the calm Li Yizhang became angry as soon as he talked about the motive and said, "The 4 of them had tied me up and violated me, and I wanted to kill them all to deal with my resentment." In November 2002, Li Yizhang, who attended a party in a gay bar, met 4 strangers. Because they were all gay, Li Yizhang and the 4 of them had a really good conversation at the bar. After Li Yizhang got drunk, the 4 men Li Yizhang was invited to hang out in a private house near East 3rd Road. Perhaps it was because he was drugged halfway, or maybe it was because he was drunk, but Li Yizhang started to fall asleep and became unconscious when he arrived at their place. He woke up in a daze and found himself tied to the heating pipe in the house, with all his clothes stripped off. The 4 men in front of him took turns assaulting and torturing him while he was naked for several hours. After hours of humiliation, Li Yizhang completely broke down. When he got home, he numbly rubbed his body and began to plan a shocking revenge. Li Yizhang started to inquire about the identities of the 4 men, and he initially found the first victim in the bar district of Sanlitun. Li Yizhang followed him to an internet cafe and, when the man got off the computer, Li quickly turned on the computer that had not yet been turned off and got the victim's QQ number. After that, he used the name WSBT to add the man, who had the online profile Paid Slave, and tempted him to meet up. Paid Slave said he liked to be tied up and abused, but Li would need to pay him $1,000 USD if he wanted to have sex. Li Yizhang agreed to the offer and found his residence, a bungalow in Fengtai district, by stalking him before they met offline. He did not immediately retaliate but waited near the bungalow to ensure that paid slave was living alone. On January 17, 2003, the two successfully met offline. Upon seeing that it was Lee, whom he had previously violated, paid slave was initially surprised, but the lure of money made him less cautious. What he didn't expect was that, after they had sex, Lee brutally took his life with a Spanish saber that he had carried with him. After eliminating his first enemy, Lee quickly identified the second victim, called Pretty Feet Hottie, a master's student in the Department of Foreign Languages. After waiting near Zhongwengkung, he used the same method to make an appointment with the victim. When he arrived at the victim's home, he first turned the speaker volume to maximum, and then they had sex as they had previously agreed upon. After tying up the victim's hands and feet, rendering him unable to resist, Lee Yijong had sex with him while making cuts on his body. He then took the victim's life with a knife. Next, Lee tracked down and killed his third and fourth enemies in the same manner. The third victim was the oldest and strongest of them all and had been the most brutal to Lee Yijong at the time of the assault. After arranging an appointment with him in the same way, Lee imposed all his grief, indignation, and fury onto him. After killing the man, Lee was still enraged and cut off his genitals, throwing them into the garbage. However, even after eliminating these four people, Lee Yijong's inner hatred did not disappear. On the contrary, he derived pleasure from killing. Over the next 6 months, he made appointments with gay men through the internet and killed them without any reason, using the same method. Lee Yijong brutally murdered 6 men in just 6 months. From a man seeking revenge to a gay serial killer, Lee Yijong's personal information was eventually disclosed during the police investigation revealed Lee Yijong's past, but to the surprise of many, being violated by a stranger was only the spark that set off his killing spree. The root of all the tragedies had been buried as early as his childhood. Lee Yijong was born in 1980 and was raised by his grandmother in Shandong when he was young, as his family already had 2 boys early on. When he was old enough to go to school, Lee Yijong's aunt, who loved him dearly, arranged for him to attend primary school in Beijing. At the beginning of junior high school, Lee Yijong had to return to his parents in Changji City, Xinjiang, as his aunt was having family issues. His nightmare began during this period. Lee Yijong's poor parents were ordinary workers, and his 2 brothers grew up with the parents. Lee Yijong, feeling like an outsider, could not get the recognition and love of his family members. What made it even more unbearable was that his mother suffered from severe mental illness and would smash things for no reason. She often beat and scolded young Lee Yijong. After he entered high school, his mother's mental illness gradually stabilized, but after caring for her for a long time, his father became irritable and developed a drinking problem. When he was drunk, Lee Yijong was often beaten by his father or even chased around the house with a kitchen knife. The unhealthy family atmosphere left Lee Yijong with an incurable psychological shadow. His personality changed gradually, and his parents' beatings made him increasingly violent. Whenever he felt troubled, he would resort to violence. While studying in middle school, Lee Yijong discovered that his sexual orientation was somewhat different. He did not like his female classmates but was very interested in his male classmates. He developed an interest in Tang, a classmate, and they became close after Lee's efforts to befriend him. However, when Lee Yijong wanted to take the relationship further, Tang rejected him and even showed contempt. Lee Yijong was not only afraid of losing Tang but also frightened that Tang would tell others about his homosexuality. So, after his final confession was rejected, he killed Tang. On February 21, 1994, 10 days later, Tang's body, which had been stabbed more than 20 times, was found in a plantation next to the campus. Lee Yijong, who had had a dispute with Tang, was soon listed as a suspect, but no direct evidence was found. In addition, Lee Yijong was mentally tough and did not show any flaws under the police's inquiry, so the case remained unsolved. One night in December of the same year, Lee Yijong was walking alone on the street when he collided with a man about 30 years old. However, the man did not blame him and kindly asked if he was hurt. Faced with the man's gentle attitude, Lee Yijong became less cautious and went to a restaurant with him for a drink. There, Lee confided in the man about the grievances he had suffered at home for many years. Lee Yijong, 15 at the time, apparently overestimated his tolerance for alcohol and woke up the next day to find that he had been violated. The indignant Li Yizhang was determined to retaliate, so he brought a knife from home and waited at that intersection every day after school for the man who had violated him to reappear, but he had never seen the man again. This humiliating experience made Li Yizhang even more violent, and because he found that he liked but also hated men at the same time, in 1999, Liang was admitted to Beijing University of Technology with the second place in the college entrance examination in Changji City. When he finally escaped from his family, he was relaxed, and all kinds of fashionable places in the metropolis attracted his attention. He began going to internet cafes with classmates frequently. Once, he accidentally clicked into a website called Purple Boy, which is a large gay dating website. Li Yizhang found groups of people similar to him and started to indulge in it. At that time, Li Yizhang would spend a lot of money on internet fees, but the money sent by his family became less and less, and he did not want to ask his parents for money, so he chose to go out to work to earn money. He worked part-time in two restaurant chains, one in the morning and one in the evening, often working 12 hours a day. Gradually, Li Yizhang, who worked for long hours to earn money and indulged in internet cafes, soon felt that his studies had been left behind, and it became hard for him to keep up with his schoolwork. At the end of the second semester, he failed several courses, and in the third semester, he didn't want to take his exams. Dealing with the financial and university pressure, he finally dropped out of college in the third year. In June 2002, Li Yizhang, who was active in numerous homosexual forums, met a netizen named Tang Jiangxia. Tang Jiangxia was rich and 7 or 8 years older than Li Yizhang. He worked in a foreign company with a decent salary. He took care of Li Yizhang generously, and Li Yizhang quickly fell in love and began to do house chores for Tang Jiangxia. In September of the same year, after dropping out of school, Li Yizhang moved to Tang Jiangxia's home and lived with him. Fearing that Li Yizhang would be lonely at home, Tang Jiangxia bought him a puppy as a companion, and he even gave Li Yizhang a sum of money to encourage him to start his own clothing business. This temporarily wholesome time once made Li Yizhang let go of the hatred in his heart and become gentle and outgoing. However, the good times did not last very long, and not long after they were together, Tang Jiangxia slowly started to ignore Li Yizhang. Later, he introduced Li Yizhang to some of his other gay partners, and after they had sex, he would give Li Yizhang a bit of money as compensation. This made Li Yizhang both sad and embarrassed. He felt that Tang Jiangxia had betrayed him, and in order to get Tang Jiangxia's heart back, Li Yizhang began to frequent gay bars and had sex with other men. He thought it was some kind of revenge for Tang Jiangxia's infidelity, and that Tang Jiangxia would be jealous when he saw his betrayal. Little did he know that Tang Jiangxia did not care about his relationships with other people at all, which made Li Yizhang even more depressed and disheartened. Li Yizhang realized that Tang Jiangxia only saw him as a casual partner, and he didn't love him but merely used him as a toy. This made Li Yizhang more and more disgusted. What was more cruel is that his revenge not only failed to get the result he wanted, but Tang Jiangxia also broke up with him. This absurd relationship finally came to an abrupt end, and it was during this time, when Li Yizhang was drinking to drown his sorrows, that he was brutally tortured by 4 men, frequently being abused by his parents during his childhood, assaulted by a stranger when he was a teen, and abandoned by his lover when he was an adult, all kinds of accumulated pain. He broke out at this moment, already having committed a murder in high school. He once again chose to kill the person who had humiliated him. He was deeply attracted to men, yet deeply hurt by them, so he thought that all homosexuals should be killed, and he began his murders. In a later interview, he admitted that he was controlled by the hatred he had accumulated for a long time, and he actually felt a long-lost peace after his imprisonment. In October 2003, the Beijing People's Procuratorate formally filed a lawsuit against Li Yizhang, and in November of the same year, Li Yizhang was sentenced to death for murder and deprived of political rights for life. On the morning of August 20, 2004, Li Yizhang was escorted to the execution ground at the First Intermediate People's Court of Beijing for execution. Before his departure, Li Yizhang was very calm. After pressing his fingerprint on the legal document, he said politely, "Thank you, Judge." Li Yizhang's story has sparked social concern about sexual minorities. He was certainly an unfortunate man, but when faced with humiliation and violence, he did not want to resort to the law but chose to take revenge into his own hands. It was undoubtedly impulsive and foolish, especially when the knife in his hand was pointing at innocent people. The crimes he committed become even more unforgivable. What do you think of this case? Feel free to interact with us in the comments section. First and foremost, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch my video. Your support means the world to me, and I cannot thank you enough for choosing to spend your valuable time here. Every single view, like, comment, and share that you give is an incredible source of motivation and encouragement. It's because of viewers like you that I am inspired to continue creating content, improving with each video, and striving to bring even more exciting, helpful, and entertaining material to this channel. Your engagement is truly the lifeblood of this community. Whether you're here for the first time or have been following me for a while, I appreciate your presence and involvement so much. Your comments and feedback are what help me grow and push myself to deliver better content with every upload. Knowing that you enjoy and find value in what I create gives me a sense of purpose and drives me to keep moving forward. I want to kindly invite you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. By doing so, you won't miss out on any of the new content that I have in store for you. I'm committed to bringing you videos that will not only entertain but also inspire, educate, and make your day a little brighter. Subscribing is a simple way to stay connected, and it ensures that we can continue this journey together. Additionally, by subscribing, you become a part of this growing community where your voice matters. I always welcome your thoughts, ideas, and suggestions, and I make it a priority to read your comments because they are invaluable to me. Whether it's ideas for new videos, feedback on what you liked or didn't like, or just sharing your thoughts, I'm here for it all. Together, we can create a space that feels positive, engaging, and full of meaningful conversations. So please, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button now. If you're already subscribed, I want to give you an extra special thank you for being a part of this journey with me. Your support, no matter how small it may seem, is making a huge difference, and I'm incredibly grateful. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll always know when I've uploaded something new. Trust me, there's a lot of exciting content on the way, and I don't want you to miss any of it. Once again, thank you so much for being here, for watching, and for supporting this channel in any way you can. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds as we continue to grow together. Let's keep the momentum going, so make sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Wishing you all the best and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and stay tuned.